It's working. I think it's working. All right.
Did you hear yourself? This is why I tell people experimental making. Yeah, for the
Hello.
Oh, hey there. Welcome back to another Ion Physiology podcast. I'm your host, Dr. B. There you go. Trying to see how far Kedim's willing to lean. Anyway, welcome back. We hope you're having a great December. Here in Louisville, we got some snow on Monday, and it has not Monday night. Technically Monday night, right? Start after midnight, guys. But we did get some snow, and it hasn't melted because it's been in the 25-degree range, so everybody's perpetually cold. Anyway, we hope that you are doing well. Exam 2 for 641, right? 641 exam 2 just concluded. So hopefully you did well on that. If you did not do as well as you had hoped, take a deep breath, right? Take a deep breath. Remember that a lot of this course is not exams, right? You've got your microvids for number 1. You've got your module completion number 2. Right, and both of those add up to what, 40%? Is it 20% for the microvids? Module completion is another 20%. So each of those essentially are worth the full exam. And you guys have your final coming up. Some of you have actually already taken your final. And so good job on taking your final for those of you that have done that early. We will be hosting a review session on Saturday morning, maybe it might be Saturday morning. I think Saturday morning is what we're deciding on. It might be Sunday night, but we're thinking Saturday morning. We'll send you an email out today. Today's Thursday, letting you know the final time for that. So we just wanted to have a final podcast for the year as we wrap up this year. You all have done great. We are excited and thankful to have you all in this program. And so we're going to kind of go around and just talk about our feelings for a little. I'm just kidding. We're not going to do that. But we will talk about some more study habits, study tips. You guys are pros now. You've obviously done your full undergrad degree or requirements. You've been in this graduate program now for 3 months, 4 months. So hopefully 4 months. I think 4 months. So we're just going to kind of go around and talk about. We're going to answer some questions and kind of popcorn around. Add some just some conversation about what we have found to be most beneficial when going through the program, when working. So okay, so let's start this off, GTAs. So after you. Here's what I want you to do. I want you to put yourself in the student's shoes. You've been in your program for 4 months. What are the things that you learned about how you study and the way that you study? And really, when did you start honing those in? Did you do better the second semester? Because I don't think the content's any easier. I think that you may just have gotten better and more attentive at figuring out what you need to know and sort of parsing that out and really dedicating that, because now you've had multiple exams, multiple finals, so you kind of know what is expected of you guys. So just kind of, and it's going to be different for everybody. So why don't we just popcorn around and talk about where you were halfway through your program. So who wants to go first? Kind of talk a little bit about that. Haley, very good. Thank you for.
Let's start with the first in class. The
first in class. All right, so it can be Dom.
I hear what I did.
Apparently, the dean doesn't like.
I mean, I do think that during the first course, it was navigating a lot of figuring out how much time I needed to dedicate to studying and how to best apply that study time. And it was in the second semester a lot easier because I knew how much time I needed to study. I was better able to plan. Like, I know in the fall is especially hard because the holidays, you have a lot of commitments.
That's right.
For me,
it's a really good point.
For me, the fall is always harder because it's just, there's always so much more happening in my, family and everything. And so navigating all of that, it is easier in the second half with the spring semester, but And I do think that after talking with some of my students, depending on my program, it's sort of just spending more time with the content is like
Mm.
the biggest.
So how did that look like on like a weekly or daily basis for you when you said spending more time with the content?
So, I know in the first half I'd go to class, I'd go home, and then and it's different in the in person. You have post lecture quizzes that you have to complete before the next lecture, and it was I I never had like a sort of like structure or still figuring out like the timing of all of it.
Mm.
And within the second semester I'd go to lecture, I'd go home, I wouldn't review that night. As soon as the quiz opened, I'd take the quiz like fresh off lecture and just to see what I knew. And then the next day I would spend the morning reviewing the lecture and then retaking the quiz. So it there wasn't I didn't have that like strict schedule in
Right.
the first
But it
semester.
seems like you did have,
In the second semester.
in the second semester, you had a
Yeah.
more strict schedule, and you also had sort of your operating protocol,
Yeah.
which, personal operating protocol, which was to go and take the quiz just fresh, right? Then there was a time in between taking the quiz one time and the second time. It seems like there was like study time.
Yeah,
that you
yeah.
were able to
Yeah.
digest it, and then you took it again. And so that might be a tactic that the online students might want to try, is taking the quiz one time and then spending some time digesting the material, and then going back a little bit later, maybe the next day, and taking it a second time. Whether they do, online modules 14, 15, 16, 17, right? Which would entail two quizzes, because they have every two months. You might take that chunk once, take those quizzes the first time, but let that information percolate. And that's one thing with physiology that I'm sure you all are knowing, or you're getting an understanding of, is that it's about understanding the material, not memorizing the material. It's going to be very, very difficult even going forward if you try to memorize everything for the exams. It's going to be nigh impossible to do that. But gaining that understanding, gaining that, and also spending that time to be able to do that is going to be the hard thing. So I guess my follow-up question is, how as an online student, most of these students have full-time jobs. Maybe they have kids, maybe they're married, they have all these other obligations. What is a good, like how would you all recommend, or could you potentially propose solutions or ways that they could spend more time with the material, if they have such a tight schedule already? What do you guys think?
I know that like after lecture, I would sit like at dinner and either with my fiance or with my family that I was eating with, talk through like what we covered.
Yes.
And basically subject them to the physiology.
Subject, yeah, voluntarily or involuntarily,
Yeah.
right?
And be like, oh yeah, so I learned this and like here's how it functions and here's what it does.
Oh, that's a good idea.
And
So it's almost like you're teaching the material to them.
yeah, and my fiance's an English teacher, my family has no medical background, and so they had no idea what I was talking about. And so they were able to like really ask questions of like, wait, I don't understand what you're saying. And so I was able to really gauge how well I understood something based on how well I could explain it to them.
Yeah, that's a great process. That's a great thought, and opportunity to weave that in to time that you already have dedicated, such as dinner time, right? Or whatever meal time is. That's a great suggestion. Any other suggestions?
For me, I just kind of, for getting studying time in when I was busy, because I worked when I worked during the face-to-face program, I worked 12-hour shifts, and so those were either on the weekends or like interspersed throughout the weekday. And you have a lot of time on your hands that you don't really realize when you're waiting for other things to occur while you're doing something else. And so anytime you're like scrolling your phone, for instance, waiting on food to cook, or you're walking somewhere or like you're in the bathroom or something like that, I always did like Quizlet stuff. Listen, I used to play like chess in the bathroom. I threw a Quizlet instead, so that's what I
That's a
did.
good idea. That's a
So
good
I used
idea.
to have
Yeah.
like the Quizlet note cards, and so
Okay.
I would flip through them like while I was waiting on something to heat up, or while I was walking somewhere, or
Walking the dog, right?
yeah, or if somebody was driving somewhere and I was on my phone in the passenger seat. It's kind of just finding your niche little time to do that, and then obviously I always encourage a little bit before bed, but not to stay up too late. For instance, I always used to play video games before bed. And so what I would do is instead of doing that, if I had something big coming up where I was like, I need to lock in this material, I would spend about an hour, hour and a half before bed going over that really in-depth material.
Our boy's growing up. He's not doing video games anymore. He's
That's right.
studying. This is a prime moment right here for all of us. So we didn't know if Caleb was going to make it, but he made it. He made it. Yeah. So really, what I'm hearing is basically finding the times, right? Caleb mentioned it, Hunter and Dom, finding the times in your schedule to interweave, even if just briefly, like you said with Quizlet on your phone, interweave a little bit of physiology, a little bit of content review and that goes a long way to gaining that understanding. And so if you haven't been doing that and you have been struggling, that might be something a tactic that you may want to do. Get Quizlet. You don't have to create. I haven't used it. I just know what it does, right? So, but you can just input your notes and it'll just create stuff for it, or input like the area and it'll create questions for it, or how does that work?
It's a little.
So you might have to make your own. You might have to sit down and make your own note cards.
It's honestly making your own note cards is also really helpful because you're going
You go through the process of actually making your own note cards.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I would make my own practice questions. Sometimes I would upload content and study guides to ChatGPT or something.
Yep.
Which I don't know if I'm allowed to condone this verbally, but say, make me some exam-like master's level practice questions on this content.
You say
And-
they can do that. So.
Yeah.
Okay.
They can, 100%.
But it would actually shoot some good ones out, and if I was missing a lot of like the same types of questions, I would go back and review that content, but.
And if there were some ones that it didn't, or that it gave you that were incorrect, your ability to even spot the incorrect one is a good practice, right? It's good practice to be able to do that. So, if you're doing well and have done well, keep doing what you're doing, right? We don't want to rock the boat there. But if you are struggling a little bit, finding that time, finding that, it really comes down to if you can dedicate the time and finding that time to dedicate to study, then I have no doubt that it will increase your performance. Along with attending these town halls, we have these Q&A, these exam reviews, watching these podcasts. Hopefully, this gives you a little bit of an idea about that. Okay, so what things could we recommend to the students? Remember, after the final, they're going to be coming back and starting on January the 7th. That is a Wednesday. So you'll be starting January 7th, 2026. What are some recommendations from you all so that they can hit the ground running in terms of, they're going to be starting 42, right? 642, which starts with what? Respiratory physiology. So that section is not intuitive. It's not an easy section. It's not an incredibly hard section, I don't think, but it's definitely not easy either. So what are your recommendations for students that might perhaps find themselves with more time over the break, where they are struggling? Like how would you recommend for them to prepare?
My recommendation is to enjoy your break. Spend time with your family, do things you like, reset your brain so that you can not burn yourself out and come back stronger than ever.
Great suggestion. We do, all of us, especially perhaps some of this online students who are working full-time and are not in the face-to-face. It is a great time to sort of, and I like to use the word reset. Remember, just because if for some reason this past fall you found yourself struggling more than you thought you would, it doesn't mean that you can't succeed in the spring, right? It doesn't mean that you can't do better in the spring. And part of that might be resetting, stopping, reflecting on, okay, here's what worked for me this past fall. Here's what didn't work. maybe you're going through the modules, maybe you're going through the quizzes, everything is, and the practice problems, no problem, you're doing them and you're doing well in them, but when you get to the exam, there's a disconnect, right? So let your GTA know about that, and it might be simple as looking at your approach to taking exams, looking at a test taking strategy, or it might be the fact that you perhaps need a little bit more review time in between when you do the review and the exam to let that information percolate. Go ahead,
I have
Naveed.
something about the exam, which I notice a lot of the students who are struggling with the material are not doing, which is when we put exam study guides,
Mm,
we really mean that you should focus on these things. Like, these are there to help you. I didn't actually realize that until the second course as well.
mm.
So that really did help me. So when we say these are exam study guides, you should focus on these things, or when we give you, like, for instance, circulation, when we tell you that if you do all the core studies, and like the questions that we have in enhanced, you should do well in that course. We really mean that, but that's how most of us studied. And some of us arrived to that conclusion, I'm sorry, most of us arrived to that conclusion later than others, okay?
Was he talking with his hand or talking about you? Arriving to that conclusion a little bit later than others. Yeah, Haley, we see you, we appreciate you. Personal. Well, no, Nadeem brings up a really good point, and I don't know if you all are aware of this, but I'm making you aware of it right now. If the one person who actually watches these podcasts, right? So hopefully you guys are watching these, but I actually go through and look at the exam questions, look at the exam content, and from that content, we make the study guide essentially. Okay, so if it's on the study guide, chances are you're going to need to know it. It's not, you might need to know it. You are going to need to know it in order to be successful on the exam, right? So a little bit of, oh, go ahead.
I was not good to say that the study guide is the exam.
No,
but if
no,
there
for
is a
sure.
question on the exam that's like, what color is Nadim's sweater? There was probably gonna be something on the study guide saying, be familiar with what Nadim is wearing.
Be familiar with, yeah, right. So it's not going to give a direct, hey, this, but a lot of times it will give an area
The
to
concept,
focus
yes.
on.
Yeah.
Yeah, and so yeah, just make sure you're going through all of these materials, make sure that you're spending the time to do that. The exam like questions that we've posted, we've had a lot of good feedback, at least from what I've heard, and I think what from the GTAs have heard, of those. So that's beneficial. If more of those would be more beneficial, let us know. We can always make more of those. Or if you have any feedback saying like, hey, it'd be really nice to have this, let us know. That's something that we could 100% try to provide for you this coming spring as Haley yawns because apparently I'm boring her. That was big too. Like, yeah, I was like, it was a big yawn. All right. Any other recommendations? But no, yeah, rest. Rest. This is a good time to rest, to reset. Oh yeah. Oh, that was like a visual aid
Yes.
is what it was. Didn't know we were playing gestures over here. But make sure that you reset. Make sure that you find out where you potentially have been struggling, right? Or where there's improvement and make those adjustments and let us know. We're here to help you. If you don't know how to make the adjustment, let us know, meet with your GTA. We're more than happy to meet with you over the break. We can do that. That's not a problem at all. So just reach out and let us know. Any other thoughts or recommendations for the students as they head into the break?
I'd just say that reading doesn't equal learning, but recall does equal learning, and I think for the online students, that's like the number one thing that they.
That is a great study tip. It's a lot of students would go, what I found over the years, the 15 years I've been teaching, a lot of students will say, I read through the content or I've
I
reviewed the
went through the
content.
content, yeah.
And they say, I've gone over it, I've literally gone over
Yeah.
it 5 times. And that's a really good point. Reading is not studying, right? Reading is reading, but reading isn't studying. Actively going through and drawing out the concepts and actually taking handwritten notes, right? Or typing them up if you want to. That is more studying. That's an active process, right? So make sure that you're doing that. I really like what you said. You said reading isn't studying, but recall is like meaning that you're doing what's called self-testing. You're going through and making sure that you know what you think you know, right? Somebody had a question, Dom, or
I wanted to say it's Christmas time, putting a whiteboard on your Christmas list or going to the
Yes.
library.
Oh my
I know
gosh.
some of our local libraries, they have a room that you can rent that has whiteboards. Like for me, when I studied, I went to a whiteboard and I just
Went to town,
I
huh?
word vomit.
Yes,
And I
yes.
built a whole whiteboard.
Whiteboard.
Have heard of Bid FTA? It is an auction app. This is the best advice.
And we don't get kickback. We don't get, and this is not affiliated with U of L. I'm just letting you guys know. So if you guys go there and get a virus, Haley is gonna pay for it out of her own pocket, so.
Just picked up 2 days ago, a huge whiteboard. It's bigger than this one for my house for $4.
Wait,
So,
what's this called?
Bid FTA.
What does FTA stand?
I don't know. It's an auction website and they have.
It's coming from Saudi Arabia. She hasn't received it yet. Wait, no, I'm sorry. A prince from Nigeria? A prince from Nigeria. A prince from Nigeria promised it, right? Did you send him money? Did you send him money?
Take it seriously. Amazon returns. They
Oh, you never been Amazon.
It's not Amazon, it's an auction
It's
website.
like an Amazon overstock warehouse.
Yes,
Amazon Overstock Warehouse.
That's
Okay. Hey, this is great.
and you can look.
Shop
up-
Chris. I'm like looking
Yeah.
at Christmas gifts.
You can go to 5 below.
Do you know how much this board? You know how much this board costs?
Yeah.
It was like $150 to $200.
So if you're bored,
She hasn't gotten it yet, so
No, I
wait. It's in the mail.
I
No,
think
you go and pick it up.
Oh.
they give you pickup dates and you
It's
have to
like-
go find where it's at in the warehouse and then they scan your QR code and you take it.
They don't
home.
just tell you where it is in the warehouse, they just.
They do, they give you an aisle number and a bay number, you gotta go find it.
Aisle and bay number, folks. You heard it here first. They have these in every city.
All kidding aside, it really does help.
I feel like
It really does
I
help.
Okay.
No, right. So going back, reining it in.
Sorry.
Going back to what Dom said, I didn't have a whiteboard. I didn't even have a blackboard when I was going through this. But I would take sheets of printer paper without the lines or anything, and I would do the exact same thing. I would start drawing out from the get-go. I would copy, not my notes word for word, but like you said, I would read the notes, I would say what's important, and then I would make phrases that in order to help me, like these recall mechanisms, essentially, these acronyms to help me learn this material. You would have to memorize that, but then you memorize that so that you have the tool for when you have the question, you can quickly recall that information and apply those concepts to solving the question. So, great suggestion.
Like acronyms and like visual.
Yes,
That's
huge
what, like,
huge
I
way.
was meeting with Sue the other day and we were talking about the filtration equation and I was like, up, down, up. That's how I remember it. And it's things that increase filtration.
Up, down. I thought we were playing Contra from
That's.
up, down, left, right, BA, select, start.
You're not.
This gets you 30. This is back in the 90s. This gets you 30 lives in Contra.
No, but it really does help. Like, it really does help.
30 lives does. You can't get past level 1 if you don't have 30 lives. Oh, you're talking about the word vomiting. Yes, it definitely does help. So what'd you say? Up,
Down, up.
up, down,
So
up.
that's how I remember things. I make little tricks in my brain.
So,
visual aids.
And honestly, that's
Yeah.
how you become top in the class, folks. You've heard it here first.
That's how everybody hates you.
That's how is that right? That's how everybody hates you.
Color code.
Anyway, anything else before we wrap up this podcast? It's been going on for. Oh, we do have a sponsor. Okay, great.
It's not our sponsor.
Bid FTA is not our sponsor. We're gonna hear a word from our sponsors. Don't forget to like and subscribe, ring that bell, and all that other good jazz. But first, a word from our sponsors before we kick off the podcast.
Our official sponsor today, and we're sponsored by the Night Before Finals Prep Company. Not a creature was stirring, except you crying.
We just have.
Okay, we have a different sponsor.
I'm sorry, I'm foreign. I'm having a hard time understanding that.
So
You know, I
That was fun. Hey, guys, we appreciate you. We love you guys. That was terrible.
Their energy drink.
There we
Because
go.
healthcare can wait till after final.
There we go. Healthcare is self-care, so I don't know yet. Well, we need more sponsors, so if if you're a new sponsor woman over here. That one was, she even pointed the finger at the second, you're gonna fail. I was like, what?
It was fun.
You're not gonna fail, you're gonna do great.
Don't cry.
Don't cry. Anyway, okay, all right, any other words of wisdom or?
So next semester, remember that we do have an anonymous posting place for podcast topics.
Oh, that's right.
Because, I mean, we try to come up with things that we think are difficult, but, you know, it's not universal. And
Right.
so don't be afraid to post something, and having it explained differently than how it might be in the modules could be of use to not only you, but other students as well.
Very good, very good. Yeah, so the anonymous, and the anonymous posts can you know, be as zoomed in as how do you all, or how do I remember up, down, down, up? Like, what is that specifically with, I'm sure you're looking at transporters through the nephron, whether is that what it is?
No, it's looking at filtration.
Filtration of okay, for circulation, right? So just, they can be really, really particular questions rather than, hey, it'd be great to do a podcast on, you know, respiration, right? You can zoom in and say, I don't understand, you know, the sinoatrial node and how there is a connection between the sinoatrial and AV node, atrioventricular node, and the differences between the nodal cell action potential, right? So we can really zoom in and talk in depth about some of these topics, and we'd love to talk to you all about some of these topics. So any other final words of wisdom from Haley before we leave? Anything else?
Never speaking again.
Never speaking again.
You're looking for wisdom from Haley.
Guys, look at that. That was rough. And we're gonna end it. We're gonna end it like we always end it. Stay cool, stay in school, don't do drugs, and we will see you all next time. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And happy holidays. We'll see you guys in January. Take care. Bye-bye.